3 years ago, a dispirited Michael Cheika walked away from the Wallabies, his coaching career in tatters. Today he is the hottest property in International Rugby Union, and not far from the top in Rugby League as well. Questions are now being seriously asked about whether Cheika will make the leap from international rugby to a full-time coaching role in the NRL. Michael Cheika, centre, black jacket, celebrates with jubilant Argentina players after the side defeated England on Sunday. He is certainly getting plenty of support in high places. Prior to their quarter-final clash with tournament favourite Australia, TV commentator Andrew Voss described the Lebanon Cedars as undoubtedly the team with the best spirit in the tournament. Cedars captain Mitchell Moses, who has been coached by the likes of Ivan Cleary in the NRL and Brad Fittler at state of origin level, described Cheika's influence on the side as unbelievable. "The way he can get you up for a game, I've never seen it before, to be honest," he said. "You hear about all the stories about how he gets teams up for games, and I witnessed it firsthand and loved working under him. I think he has got a big future in the NRL if he wants a go at it. I think he could definitely coach a team one day if he sticks at it and if he wants to." Michael Cheika, right, chats with Lebanon players Adam Doueihi, left, and Andrew Kazzi, centre, after their Rugby League World Cup quarter-final loss to Australia. Former star player turned commentator Greg Alexander has no doubt Cheika could succeed as a full-time NRL coach. "I think he knows all about coaching, whether it is rugby or rugby league," he said. In rugby union he went through a tough time with the Wallabies, so he is well prepared for what would be facing him if he decided to take on an NRL head coaching job. He has got the temperament and the character to be successful, that's for sure. The tough time with the Wallabies that Alexander spoke about was a frustrating end to a 5-year stint that saw Cheika take the side to the final of the 2015 Rugby World Cup, only to walk away after a drop down the rankings and a series of clashes with then-Rugby Australia CEO Raelene Castle. The fall from grace hit Chieka hard. It was, after all, the first failure of his life. The son of Lebanese immigrants, he made his reputation as a tough backrower with the Randwick club, who once tried to play the week after suffering a head gash that required 38 stitches. Off the football field he was equally determined and successful. Fluent in 5 languages, he learned the fashion industry as business manager to Australian designer Collette Dinnigan before striking out on his own and making a fortune. Cheika and a business partner began importing European fashion labels into Australia, and then expanded into Europe, before he sold his share in 2011. There has always been speculation about just how wealthy Cheika is, but a throwaway line to journalists during the 2014 Wallaby tour of the UK gives a hint. When one reporter mentioned a suburb on London's Thames-side, where apartments sold for upwards of $20 million, he remarked casually, "Oh yeah, my partner and I owned a couple of buildings there." Turning to coaching after his playing days ended, Cheika led Randwick to the Sydney first-grade premiership in 2004. The next season he made the big leap to Irish club Leinster and guided them to the Heineken Cup, Europe's top competition. In 2014, he became the first coach to win the major rugby titles of both Northern and Southern Hemispheres when his NSW Waratahs won the Super Rugby final 33-32 over New Zealand's Canterbury Crusaders. Cheika congratulates his Wallabies players after a win in the 2019 World Cup, the last tournament head coach for Australia. During the tournament the Wallabies built a strong bond, cemented largely by the strength of Cheika's personality. Winger Drew Mitchell spoke at the time of Cheika taking an overall view to the players' progression on and off the field. "Cheik will talk to us about something he wants us to get out of each and every day so that there's no scope to look beyond the day that you're in," he said. He always speaks about the outcome being irrelevant. If you continue getting better as a player, if you continue getting better as a person, then the results will start to come. It's different to other coaches I've had because it's not outcome driven, and it's not solely focused on the football. What Cheik does really well is, he ties in the football stuff with stuff about how we want to live our lives, how we want to hold ourselves in public situations and things like that, and also the relationships we have with family and friends and anyone else for that matter. Drew Mitchell was coached by Michael Cheika at the Wallabies and Waratahs, and says the mentor has a unique way of connecting with his players both on and off the field. Halfback Nick Phipps recalled that Cheika had a good cop, bad cop philosophy to coaching. "Sometimes when you make a mistake, hell, have a joke about it," he said. And sometimes, well, there's no joking. Whatever approach Cheika took, it worked, all the way to the final, which the Wallabies eventually lost 34-17. It was all downhill from there. When Raelene Castle announced that she was bringing in former Scotland coach Scott Johnson as director of rugby to oversee Cheika prior to the 2019 Rugby World Cup, the end was in sight. Cheika announced his departure after the Wallabies were eliminated from the tournament in the quarter-finals by England, telling reporters that his relationship with Castle had been dysfunctional and he found it hard to work in tandem with Johnson. "I think it's no secret that I've pretty much got no relationship with the CEO and not much with the chairman, Cameron Klein," Cheika said. "Scott's a lovely bloke and I get on fine with him, but I am sort of not really into that type of thing." That came as no surprise to those who had worked with Cheika in the past. Michael Cheika celebrates with Argentinian players after winning a test against the All Blacks in 2020, when he was then an assistant coach. One former assistant told of being with Cheika when he read a newspaper article about former Wallaby coach John Connolly being hired as football manager by the Queensland Reds to oversee their coach. "That won't work," Cheika said, folding the newspaper and throwing it in the bin. "There can only be one boss, so it proved at the Reds, as it did at the Wallabies." For a while Cheika disappeared from the scene, before being spotted in the coaching box of the Sydney Roosters rugby league team as a consultant to good mate Roosters coach Trent Robinson during the 2020 season. Michael Cheika, right, pictured with Roosters NRL coach Trent Robinson, left, coached the Waratahs at Super Rugby level from 2013 to 2015. Earlier this year he made his return to international rugby, accepting the role as Argentina Pumas head coach that had previously been offered to him in 2015. In August he admitted to mixed feelings when the Pumas beat the Wallabies 48-17 in San Juan, but there would have been no such ambivalence about Sunday's upset win over England, coached by Eddie Jones. The former Randwick teammates have developed a healthy, and sometimes heated, coaching rivalry since Jones took charge of England in 2016. A jubilant Cheika shakes hands with Argentinian star Julian Montoya after the side beat Eddie Jones' England on Sunday. They met 7 times with Cheika in charge of the Wallabies, and the Jones-led England won all 7, including the 4-0-1-6-2019 World Cup thrashing in Japan that effectively ended Cheika's Wallaby career. It was a record that the acid-tongued Jones was happy to remind his old teammate about on the eve of matches, something he would later brush off as a bit of fun. Cheika never seemed to find it quite as amusing as Jones, but rest assured Sunday's win would have given him plenty to smile about. Their rivalry is one which is set to continue for at least another 10 months, with Argentina and England scheduled to meet in the first round of the 2023 Rugby World Cup on September 9 in Marseille. England coach Eddie Jones, an Aussie native like Cheika, looks forlorn as his side goes down to his longtime friend and coaching rival. With speculation that both men are interested in pursuing a change of coaching direction, their next meeting might not be at Twickenham, Buenos Aires or Paris, but Sydney, in the NRL. The question, of course, is why Cheika, and for that matter Eddie Jones, would even consider swapping the pulsating atmosphere of a packed Twickenham or Stade Francais for the questionable charm of a half-filled Campbelltown Sports Stadium or Leichhardt Oval. The answer, strange as it might seem to those who didn't grow up in Sydney or Brisbane, is that it is in their DNA. As children of 1960s Sydney, Cheika from Coogee and Jones from Little Bay near La Perouse, their childhood heroes weren't Wallabies or Waratahs, but Rabbitohs and Roosters from the local South Sydney and Eastern Suburbs rugby league clubs. They might have ended up playing and coaching rugby union, but their affinity with league never dimmed. Jones in particular maintained strong links with rugby league, the sport he played as a junior before being introduced to union at school, bringing star players Wendell Sailor, Lo Tukiri and Matt Rogers into the Wallabies prior to the 2003 Rugby World Cup. As former Rugby Australia CEO Gary Flowers put it, Eddie was in love with league players. Then the Wallabies coach, Cheika and Eddie Jones share a laugh before England and Australia do battle in 2018. Former Wallaby Elton Flatterly agreed. He loved the league boys. He loved the way they trained, he said. Jones has continued to use rugby league expertise in his coaching setup at England, as recently as employing former Brisbane Broncos coach Anthony Seibold as his defensive coordinator. Likewise, Cheika has close links with rugby league, particularly through Sydney Roosters coach Trent Robinson, who spent time with the Wallabies during their 2014 UK tour before offering Cheika a consulting role in 2020. But would either coach consider taking the giant step into full-time coaching in the NRL? Significantly, neither has ruled it out. Cheika, pictured with Lebanon and Eels star Mitchell Moses at a Rugby League World Cup press conference, could be a highly successful NRL coach. But would he take the plunge? In favor of the move is the challenge factor. Both men are high achievers who have gone pretty much as far as they can in rugby union. They have both coached their national teams, won major tournaments and earned millions of dollars doing it. The challenge of taking on a new role in a sport they have watched and been excited by all their lives might just be enough to tempt them over to the dark side. They would no doubt like the opportunity to work with the quality of athletes who play professional rugby league, and both have shown an attraction to the thrust and parry of the kind of blanket media coverage that the NRL generates. As for the pressure that NRL coaches endure, they have been enduring that all their careers. When you add it all up, what have they got to lose? And best of all, it might just be fun.